and get up to 30% off today.
See representative for warranty details. Promotion is 20% off plus a 10% senior or military discount. One discount per household.
Rocket 1025.
With your updated forecast, I'm staff meteorologist Paul Trombley from the Weatherology Weather Center. Ample sunshine expected today with daytime highs approaching 75. Winds out of the east, 5 to 10 miles per hour. Clear skies again tonight. Lows dip down to about 50. High temperatures reach up to 93 tomorrow. Bright sunshine expected. Bright sunshine expected Sunday with daytime highs approaching 75. 82 Monday. Taking a look at the extended forecast, 86 Tuesday, 86 Wednesday, and 87 on Thursday. Another look at the short range. We should top out at 75 today, low of 50 tonight, high of 93 tomorrow. Get up to the minute weather updates from the Weatherology Weather Center. I'm staff meteorologist Paul Trombley on this NWKS radio station. Currently 43.
Mom, meet Sarah.
From first time Nana moments.
Yeah, welcome to Flight 101.
To annual girls trip moments. Your can't miss moments are worth protecting against RSV. If you're 75 or older or 60 plus with a chronic condition like asthma, COPD, heart disease, or diabetes, you're at higher risk of being hospitalized from RSV. And there are no prescription RSV treatments. Check eligibility and schedule your RSV vaccine at vaxassist.com.
So where should we go next?
Sponsored by Pfizer.
With Progressive's Name Your Price tool, you can easily find coverage options that fit your budget. If only it was that easy to name your baby.
How about Jaden?
Nope.
Okay. Michael?
Went to middle school with a glue-eating Michael.
Sebastian?
Dated one in college.
How about Damien?
Vampire name.
All right. Greg?
Not feeling it.
Okay. No worries. No worries. Jeffrey?
Oh, love that one.
Wait, really?
No.
Find coverage options that fit your budget with Progressive's Name Your Price tool. Get a quote at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law. Not available in all states.
Goodland's Rocket 1025 is your home for Goodland High School athletics. From touchdowns and three-pointers to home runs, Ross Volkmer has you covered with all the action. Join him for live broadcast on Goodland's Rocket 1025, your front row seat to the Cowboys and Cowgirls. Select games video streamed on the Goodland Voice. GHS athletics this season are made possible in part by
Sherman County Community Foundation, the Black and Gold Booster Club, Goodland Regional Medical Center and Family Health Clinic, and the Insurance Agency.
Your livelihood is important to you. You work hard to succeed in your farming operation, crop, livestock, home, vehicles, and special needs. We have you covered. Discounts are available for new business, remodeling, hail-resistive roofing, multi-policy, and many more. Optional coverage endorsements as well for machinery ingestion and equipment breakdown. Umbrella coverage for additional coverage on your home, farm, and auto. See the girls at the Insurance Agency at 1020 Main in Goodland or call 785-899-5011.
Get the most out of your wireless service with Nextech Wireless. Get unlimited talk and text with 22 gigabytes of high-speed data for $25 a month. And that's not all. We have all the latest devices and a team who will help you every step of the way. Get a device on us with no contract. Nextech Wireless. Home on the range.
They're having one hail of a sale at Hurl Chevrolet GMC in Goodland, Kansas. That's right, a hail sale where you can get massive savings on a new vehicle. For example, get a 23 GMC Sierra 1500 up to $20,000 off when you trade in eligible vehicle, now just over $37,000. A new 24 Chevy Tahoe RST, $13,000 off, now just over $59K. Plus 24 Chevy Traverse RS, $10,000 off, now just over $45,000. Plus many more. It's one hail of a sale at Hurl Chevrolet GMC in Goodland, Kansas. Online at hurlchev.com.
Your Shawnee County Hospital in St. Francis is improving health with access to quality care. Whether you're looking for primary care, wound care, physical therapy, cardiologist, or anything in between, Shawnee County Hospital can help. For info, visit their Facebook page or call 785-332-2104 or visit them at ShawneeCountyHospital.com. The Shawnee County Hospital, located on 210 West Street in St. Francis.
Fraudsters are out to get your hard-earned money, but you can protect yourself by following 3 simple steps. 1, don't give your account number, card information, or online banking login credentials to anyone. 2, be cautious in responding to unexpected pop-up windows or text messages. And 3, watch your accounts. If you suspect
Electrifying football action of the season right here on Rocket 1025. Cheer on your Denver Broncos with every thrilling play, every game-winning drive, and every heart-pounding moment. Don't miss a second of action. Tune in all season long to Rocket 1025. Broncos football, powered by FMB Bank, Pearl Chevrolet GMC, Colby Ag Center, Tubbs & Sons Ford Sales, Hoxie Feed Yard Imperial Beef, Next Tech Wireless, Burlington Ford, Zimbelman's Jewelry, and Vince's GM.
You ready? Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4!
It's the Morning Blitz with Ross Volkmer.
If you want to win in football, it all starts up front. Mass kicks ass.
The region's only local sports talk.
Listen to this guy. He knows what he's talking about.
Broadcasting on Goodland's Rocket 1025. Simulcasting on Goodland's 730 Gold KLOE.
Guys everywhere.
Discussing it all from the preps.
Showtime for the Lady Eagles.
To the pros.
McKinnon is in at running back. First down and goal to go. Play action fake. Right side throw. Touchdown! Kansas City!
The Blitz is presented by Pearl Chevrolet GMC, Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware, and F&B Bank, as well as the Insurance Agency, Farmer State Bank in Oakley, the Cowboy Corner Express, and Equity Bank of Hoxie, Quinter, and Grinnell.
Let's go to work. 3-1 to Alonso. Williams sets. Here's the pitch. Swinging a fly ball to right field. Pretty well hit. Frelick back at the wall. He jumps. It's gone. He did it. He did it. Pete Alonso with the most memorable home run of his career. Pumps his fist as he rounds second. It's a 3-run homer. He's given the Mets a 3-2 lead.
Mayfield in the pocket. Mayfield will throw. End zone. Caught by Mike Evans. He puts it in the bucket on the left side for the touchdown. Second of the night for Evans. And an offensive explosion in this first half. The throw from Cousins. It's caught at the 40. Moving upfield. Hodge. He could go. 10-5. Touchdown. That is a winner for the Atlanta Falcons.
And good Friday morning, everybody. Welcome back inside the Morning Blitz. On Goodland's Rocket 1025, 730 Gold, KLOE, NWKSradio.net. The Hurl Chevrolet GMC video stream on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. Glad you could join us here on a Friday, October the 4th, a football Friday. And boy, does it feel like a football Friday outside. 42 degrees. The sun just starting to slowly make its way up. Crisp and cool morning. You're going to need a jacket this morning, I'll tell you that. But it is a really nice morning to get things going here on a football Friday. And hope everyone is up and about and having a good start at least to this Friday, first Friday in the month of October. I do this every single year. I always look over at my calendar, which I have placed kind of over here in the corner of the room, and I always forget to change the months. I got to go get that page flipped or ripped off, whatever you want to call it. I got to get that done here after the show. I keep forgetting to look over like, oh, it still says September. But truly, it is October the 4th. And glad that you're with us here on the Morning Blitz, where today we will talk to Connor Nickel of Sunflower Sports Solutions, or S3, and K Preps. We'll stop by and visit with him about some of the top games in high school football. We'll touch on some other good topics as well in local sports. We'll get to some regional football talk, whether that means college or professional. I'll make some picks, try to figure out if I can make picks anymore. It's been a horrific year so far. We'll see if we can get back on the train, or see if we even get on the train. Not even back on the train, get on the train. And try to have actually a winning week, which would be nice. We'll get to that at the end of the show as well. We'll talk some high school football coming up here in a little bit. Some big games coming up tonight. A lot of homecoming games as well, including for Goodland and Colby, and Rollins County is having a homecoming game as well. So a lot of area teams celebrating homecoming with big games tonight, and get some thoughts on those contests coming up here in just a little bit. As always, if you'd like to be part of the Morning Blitz, we'd love to hear from you. The text line is open. The number is 785-899-2222. That's 785-899-2222. If you want to be part of the Morning Blitz on the FNB Bank text line. All right, let's dive into, we got some things to get into here this morning. Trying to get you caught up what happened yesterday in local sports, in all sports, I should say. And we'll do it with the front page here on a Friday.
Read all about it. Read all about it.
The top stories of today.
I got the early edition, hot off the press.
It's the front page on the Morning Blitz.
Front page, really?
Not a very busy night last night in local sports after a loaded Tuesday. Just a couple of things going on. Colby Volleyball hosted 3 other teams at the event center last night, and Colby High School Volleyball picked up 2 more wins. They swept the likes of Holcomb and Cimarron. Goodland was also there to take on Cimarron, and Holcomb lost both matches. Cowgirls lose 2-0 to Holcomb and then lost in 3 sets to Cimarron. Just 2 separate programs in 2 different spots right now. You have a Colby program that is playing with a ton of confidence, with close to 20 wins on the season, if not 20. They got to be right there. They've got maybe have 19 wins on the season. You got a team playing with a bunch of confidence right now, really feeling good as we approach, tournament time here and league tournaments next weekend. And then, of course, regional play following that weekend. A lot of confidence going on with the Colby volleyball team and head coach Shelby Mosier. And Goodland still trying to just kind of, I don't want to say get out of the starting blocks, but still trying to find that right groove. You kind of get the sense watching them at times, they really show some great things. And then at other times you're like, yeah, I don't know what happened there. And so 2 teams in different spots. Trying to find consistency. If you're Goodland, Colby seems to be right in that great spot where you want to be prepared. Looks like they're ready and prepared to head into the postseason here, starting up in a couple of weeks. There was also some cross country yesterday, but I did not find the results from the Nest City Cross Country Invitational, unfortunately. There is plenty of local sports this weekend. There is a tournament in Scott City. Goodland is one of the teams attending that. Oberlin will be packed with a lot of area schools, including St. Francis, Hoxie, and Rollins County for a volleyball tournament there. Oakley's going to host a tournament with Shiloh and Tri Plains Brewster. Golden Plains, Quinter, and Wallace County heading to Ellis for a volleyball tournament here this weekend. Also, some golf. Colby, Oakley, Rollins County, Goodland, all heading to Lakin. We heard with head coach Connie Livengood on Tuesday talk about the Goodland. I say that might have been Wednesday, actually. Coach Goods talked with us about going to Lakin, which it's a big tournament because you're playing a course that is going to be the regional site. And so you want to get another good feel for that course as you get ready for postseason golf. A little bit of cross country this weekend. Syracuse is hosting an event. Goodland's going to be running there. Fort Hays Tech Northwest cross country running at the Ted Castanda Classic. Not Costanza. I believe it is Castanda, I think is how you say that. Classic, that's in Colorado Springs. And Colby Community College Volleyball. Mentioned this on Wednesday after they took care of Hutchinson. Or probably would have been Thursday morning. After they took care of Hutchinson, they are at Cloud here on Saturday to take on the T-Birds. Let's see. That's going on in local sports. We'll get to football in just a little bit. Oh, Major League Baseball. How about that? Boy, an exciting game last night. If you weren't watching, I understand. Maybe you're watching Thursday Night Football and other things going on. But, boy, that was an exciting game going on in the National League wild card between the Mets and the Brewers. Milwaukee, pretty much right exactly where they wanted to be going into the top of the 9th, up 2-0. They had gotten a phenomenal pitching performance from their staff where pretty much 4 pitchers went out there and worked 8 innings and gave up just 2 measly hits. Is all the Mets could get against the Brewers through the first 8 innings. Then they go to their closer, Devin Williams, who's one of the better closers in the game, being honest with you. And New York gets a couple guys on. And then, as you heard on the intro, Pete Alonso comes to the plate and hits a 3-run blast over the right field fence. It wasn't a towering shot. It was more of a line drive shot. But nonetheless, it was enough to put the Mets out in front. They get another insurance run after the Alonso homer on a Marte single to right. And they would go on and get the win 4-2 with the New York Mets. And so the Mets advance over the Brewers, winning that series 2-1. And we have ourselves our division series all set to roll starting on Saturday. So the Mets will head to Philadelphia for a best-of-5 series. That's all these are all best-of-5 now. So it was a best-of-3. Now it'll be a best-of-5 in this one. But the Mets head to Philadelphia for Game 1 of the NLDS. Cleveland will be hosting Detroit, an AL Central matchup. And then San Diego visiting the Dodgers, an NL West rival matchup there. And the only one that's really not a rivalry to an extent is the Royals going to New York to take on the Yankees. And first pitch for that game right there is set for 5:30 Central Time, 4:30 Mountain Time. And as always, you can listen to the Royals on AM 790 KXXX. I tell you what, the one thing I love when I see all this is that, not that the weather has definitely looked like it right now or has acted like it, but you get later on into the postseason, the weather gets a little bit cooler. You got a lot of teams up in the northern half of the U.S. still playing baseball. I mean, think about it. Philadelphia, New York, both New York teams, by the way. Cleveland, Detroit. There's only really two teams. I mean, think about it. The furthest southern team the next closest southern team besides the Padres and the Dodgers is the Royals. Everybody else is up north. So we could have some cool looking baseball weather as we head deeper into the postseason. But once again, your 4 matchups coming up here starting Saturday with the NL and AL Championship Series. You got Philadelphia hosting New York Mets, Cleveland hosting Detroit, San Diego going to LA, the LA Dodgers, and the Kansas City Royals in New York taking on the Bronx Bombers. That's all happening on Saturday. They'll compete up against college football. We'll see how that all goes for them. I'm sure it'll be fine. But anyway, Mets advance in a very exciting into that game with highlighted by Pete Alonso's 3-run blast. And how about this? How about finally a good Thursday night football game last night? An overtime win for the Atlanta Falcons led by Kirk Cousins. 36-30, the final score. Kirk Cousins, Captain Kirk, did some amazing things last night. He put up a stat line that you don't see very often. 42 of 58 for 509. That's right, 509 with 4 touchdowns and a pick. That was unbelievable. And, of course, had the walk-off throw touchdown to Kaderil Hodge, who ran it 45 yards for a score and for a walk-off winner for Atlanta. This was a very good game. Most of the time we talk about Thursday Night Football, it's kind of a turd. It truly is. It's not a good game. But last night they got one. It's kind of funny because if you listen to Al Michaels and Kirk Herbstreit to do the play-by-play call, they kept saying, like, boy, this game's pretty good. We got ourselves a good one, actually. It's like they know every time the Thursday Night Football game comes on, it's not going to be a good one. It hasn't been. But this game here, I don't know, pretty entertaining. Pretty entertaining if you ask me. Very entertaining game. Back and forth kind of game. Missed field goals, blocked field goals. One team would take a decent lead. Here comes the other team back to tie it or take the lead. It was a great back and forth affair, and the Falcons get it done. Kirk Cousins, left Minnesota, comes to Atlanta, looked a little shaky early on, but maybe still trying to recover from that Achilles injury that he had last year. And on top of that, he's doing a great. He's got a lot of weapons around him. That's the other thing too. Drake London is turning in to be a star for Atlanta. He had 154 yards receiving last night and a touchdown. Darnell Mooney, who was a former Chicago Bear, had 2 touchdowns last night. Can't forget about Kyle Pitts. People thought he was going to change the tight end position, which he hasn't done at this point in time. But yeah, they have a lot of guys that can contribute to this offense for Atlanta who gets it done. And the Buccaneers were good. Baker Mayfield was good. They just had a fumble at a very inopportune time, which was not great. And they honestly just couldn't really get the stops they needed to defensively. Seemed like when it matters most. But finally, a Thursday night football game that was good. Atlanta taking down Tampa Bay 36-30 to kick off week 5 here of the NFL season. One more stop here. Oh, real quickly on the front page. It looks like as if Rashee Rice is at least done for the few. It looks like it's officially, they put him on IR yesterday. Once again, more than likely, that knee is probably going to need surgically repaired. It hasn't been officially announced that, but he has been put on IR, and apparently the swelling is just so bad they can't get it figured out. So we'll see what happens, but I think we all knew that Rashee Rice is going to be out for a while, and now he officially will, as he is going on the IR. That was news yesterday coming down from the Kansas City Chiefs. Plenty of good high school football on tap for tonight in week 5. You've got Oakley hosting Plainville. The Plainsmen trying to win back-to-back games after starting off 0-3. I think they have a good chance of doing that, to be honest with you. I think they have a good chance. I think Plainville's had a little bit of a rough go this year. But I think Oakley's got a chance to pick up another win, get back-to-back victories after really challenging themselves in the preseason or the non-district games. They're going to play some teams more their size and schools their size. and they're going to have some success. We'll see if that continues here tonight. Shiloh will play host to Weskin. This would have been a huge game probably a year ago, but Shiloh has graduated, of course, a lot of great seniors from last year. Weskin now has a lot of great players of all ages, honestly, and so I expect the Coyotes to have a pretty good showing against Shiloh tonight. Tri-Plains Brewster's going to host Western Plains for homecoming. That's kind of a toss-up game. A couple teams that really struggle to find the win column throughout the season. Might be a chance for them to pick up one of their few wins of this 2024 season. Golden Plains will host Northern Valley. I think Golden Plains, if Dylan Wart can do what he usually does, which is run and throw for all kinds of touchdowns, should be able to take down Northern Valley. Quinter will visit La Crosse tonight. Hoxie will be at Decatur Community. It's probably one of the bigger, if not the biggest, I think it probably is, the biggest 8-man game in our region tonight is Hoxie going to Decatur Community. You've got great players all over the field. Duncan Bell for Hoxie. You have Josiah Pattengall for Decatur Community, who's one of the best running backs in our region, which we have quite a few. Pattengall. You also throw in, of course, Ryan Schramek, who's not only the best in our area, one of the best in the state. Heck, one of the top running backs maybe in the nation, at least yardage-wise early on this year. There's a lot of good running backs in our listening region here, but Hoxie takes on Decatur Community. I think Hoxie's probably just going to have a little bit too much in the team totality department. I think they're just a really complete team. I know some people that I like to visit with think that, this Hoxie team's going to have a great chance of going to state and winning state. And the way they've looked so far this year, I could see. I mean, I think they had their JV in most of the game in their win against Stockton and still won handily 56-0. So if that's the case, I feel pretty good about that. If you're a Hoxie fan, we'll just see if Decatur Community can maybe keep the game a little closer by running the football with Pattengall, keeping it. I know Pattengall, I think they call him I call him a running back, but I think he plays quarterback actually. But nonetheless, just try to run the football, keep the ball away from Hoxie, shorten the game as much as you can, keep as close as you can. We'll see how that game shakes out. I still think Hoxie probably gets a pretty convincing win when it's all said and done. But good matchup there between really good players, particularly like in Duncan Bell and Josiah Pattengall with Hoxie at Decatur Community. Greeley County is going to host Wallace County tonight. Short drive for both of those teams, and both those teams looking for wins after struggling here the last couple of weeks. And Rollins County plays host to Stockton for homecoming. Should be a pretty quick game for the Buffaloes. Stockton struggled last week against Hoxie. Rollins County is a very quality team, of course, led by Ryan Schramek. As mentioned earlier, he's one of the top running backs in the state and one of the top guys in the country when it comes to yards gained so far this year and touchdowns, too. He's been great. But, it should be some great football tonight at the lower levels. And then you've got Colby playing host to Holcomb for homecoming. Of course, Max Gershon will have coverage for you on 100.3 The Ride starting an hour before kickoff at 6 o'clock Central with pregame. And I think this it's a great test game for Colby. Four wins, of your first three, you had probably two games that you should have won handily and did. You took on a Holyoke program, which is a solid program, and you won. And now you really, I think, I don't want to say put the conference on notice. I don't want to say that, but you let people know that you are here and you are for real because you're going to take on Holcomb tonight because you beat Hugoton, and now you get to face Holcomb, who is with Scott City, one of the top two football programs in the GWAC. And on top of that, also probably one of the top two teams bidding for, staying at home during the postseason, at least in the first round. That's what you got to think. I'm guessing that, when Colby holds Holcomb, it's another step up in competition. They've kind of slowly ramped. Holyoke was a decent game, sandwiched by a couple of opponents that they were definitely better than. But then it was a step up against Hugoton, and they passed that. Did a great job defensively against Hugoton and scored enough points to win. And now they have another big test on their hands against Holcomb, who, once again, is a good program. I don't think they're as dominant as they have been in the past. But Colby hosting Holcomb tonight for homecoming should be a good game on 100.3 The Ride. We'll see if the Eagles can get to 5-0 going into Colby Goodland weekend. Speaking of Goodland, the Cowboys are at home hosting Ulysses tonight for homecoming. We'll have coverage right here on Rocket 102.5 beginning at 5 o'clock Mountain with kickoff at 6 Mountain time from Cowboy Stadium. Just the second home game of the season for the Goodland Cowboys, been on the road a lot. And they're going to welcome in a Ulysses Tiger team that is having a tough go of things here this year. They've had some issues off the field early on in the season. They do not have a lot of upperclassmen. They're a very young football team, and they play a lot of those young guys. It reminds me a lot. This game reminds me a lot of the Oakley game. Oakley is a program that is trying to build with a lot of young players. Ulysses is in the same exact boat. They're trying to build their program with a lot of young players, particularly at the quarterback position and at some other skill positions, and even a few spots on the line too, where they've got sophomores there. And it's hard to win football games when you are such a young football team, when you probably should be playing junior varsity and you're out there having to play at the varsity level. It just is difficult. But visiting with the head coach of Ulysses, Cade Albert, he likes that, his underclassmen have been willing to stick their nose in there and are starting to adapt to the speed of the game. But they're just kind of unfortunately outmanned in most contests that they play in, and probably will be the same tonight. I loved kind of visiting. I think tonight when I look at this game, I should say, if you're Goodland, the only team that can probably beat you, or sorry, the only team that can probably beat the Cowboys tonight is Goodland. That's what I'm trying to say. If Goodland comes out there, doesn't turn the football over, just play sound, both offense and defense and special teams, I think there's a good chance they come away with the victory if you just don't hurt yourself. So limit the turnovers, don't get dumb penalties. I think you'll be in a good spot for tonight's game against Ulysses. Hopefully the Cowboys can find a way to get some running game going. Did not really attempt to run the football at all at Holcomb last week. Got to be able to find some sort of balance there on the offensive side. Yeah, and don't get beat by Ulysses. They love to just kind of chuck it down the field, so stay back and don't get beat deep in this game. But once again, I think if you're Goodland, just go out there and play your game, play smart, and you'll have a really good chance of winning tonight's contest as long as you don't shoot yourself in the foot. So a very good slate of games on tap for tonight. All right, there you go. Week 5 of the high school football season coming at you here starting this evening. Good luck to all the area athletes and all their sports coming up here. So, all right, let's get to a break. Right at the bottom of the hour here of 7:30 Mountain, 8:30 Central Time. When we return, we will get to Connor Nickel, our good friend from Sunflower Sports Solutions, and K-Preps. He'll join us next to preview this week of football and some other things as well next here on the Morning Blitz.
October is National Cooperative Month. Midwest Energy is a customer-owned cooperative, meaning everyone who takes service is a part owner. You vote to choose your board of directors, and you share in the economic success of the co-op. Like all co-ops, Midwest Energy promotes growth in our communities through employee involvement, by supporting schools, and through the Midwest Community Fund. Midwest Energy, a customer-owned cooperative, making energy work for you.
It's time for a check of the markets with the Anderson Trade Group on the Kansas Farm and Ranch Radio Network.
Good morning. This is Kate Thompson with the Anderson Trade Group. Today is Friday, October 4th, and on the overnight sell side, December corn traded lower 3 3/4 at 424.5. March down 3.5 at 442.5. May down 3.5 at 451.5, and July corn down 3 cents at 457. November soybeans on the overnight traded higher 1 3/4 at 1047 3/4. January up 1.5 at 1066. March up 1.5 at 1081 1/4. May up 2 cents at 1095.5. Chicago wheat, the December contract lowered 10 on the overnight at 593 1/4. March down 9.5 at 617. May down 9 3/4 at 629 1/4. And July soft wheat down 9 3/4 at 635.5. Kansas City wheat, the December contract lowered 9 3/4 at 601 3/4. March down 9.5 at 618.5. May down 9 cents at 629 1/4. And July down 8 3/4 at 635 3/4. On the stock market this morning, the Dow up 241 at 42,558. The S&P down 46 at 5,796. Gold lowered $22 an ounce at $2,655, and crude oil up 31 cents a barrel at $74.02. If you have any questions about marketing grain or would like to talk about risk management options, give our Colorado office a call, John Hankey or John Stiles at 970-744-4484, or in our Kansas City office, myself, Tom Saludo, Jared Ball, or Tyler Ghosh at 913-748-3000.
The Anderson Trade Group, proud market partners with Kansas Farm and Ranch Radio. Find out more at andersongrain.com. The risk of loss through trading futures and or options is substantial, and each investor and or trader must consider whether this is a suitable investment. Past performance, whether actual or indicated, is not indicative of future results. The Anderson Trade Group has no guarantee that the advice given will result in profitable trades.
Out here, we raise stronger people, stronger crops, and we proudly raise our flag to that. Let the weather, pests, and pressures try to beat us down. We only keep growing up. With the next-gen genetics, the pure acre-for-acre know-how of these soils, and a deep pride of our roots, we are born to raise at Hogemeyer. Learn more at therightseed.com.
When challenging conditions arise, we don't back down. We up our game. Outpacing the competition with innovations fueled by Bayer's R&D. Keeping you equipped with an expanded portfolio, elite genetics, and additional local test plots. Channel leads the field, so you can rise above. See how you can save at channel.com/finance24. Read and follow pesticide label directions, grain marketing, and other stewardship practices.
They're having one hail of a sale at Hurl Chevrolet GMC in Goodland, Kansas. That's right, a hail sale where you can get massive savings on a new vehicle. For example, get a 23 GMC Sierra 1500 up to $20,000 off when you trade in eligible vehicle, now just over $37,000. A new 24 Chevy Tahoe RST, $13,000 off, now just over $59K. Plus 24 Chevy Traverse RS, $10,000 off, now just over $45,000. Plus many more. It's one hail of a sale at Hurl Chevrolet GMC in Goodland, Kansas. Online at hurlchev.com.
Phones nowadays can do practically anything, including feed you.
And now they cannot.
Well, that is if you download the McDonald's app. Use the McDonald's app to get deals on the food you love, including McCafes, soft drinks, fries, and so much more. Plus, keep up to date on what's trending at McDonald's with the latest promotions, events, new products, and specials. You can even order and pay from the app. So download it today and score from your local McDonald's at Burlington, Colby, Goodland, and Lamar.
Catch up on all the latest headlines, scores, and interviews from the region. This is the Morning Blitz with Ross Volkmer, your daily dose of sports.
Once again, homecoming today for a lot of area schools, including Goodland Junior Senior High School. Today, the schedule will read as such. You have the parade, which will be at 2. Following that, you will have the prep rally at 3. Then you have the chili feed at 5. And then, of course, football at 6. If you're wanting to participate in the parade, whether it's a float or organizational entries, you need to be in the Max Jones parking lot. Start assembling at around 1:30, and you want to start on the north side and running towards the south, so that on the north entrance of the Max Jones parking lot facing south, so that way you can line up, and then the parade will start at 2 going down Main Street in Goodland. So there you go. Looking forward to that here today as we celebrate homecoming here in Goodland and also Colby and Rollins County. I think Tri-Plains Brewster as well. Double check that. Yes, all having homecoming today. All right, let's welcome into the show our good friend from Sunflower Sports Solutions, as well as K-Preps. That would be Connor Nickel, who joins us now on the Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware Hotline. Boy, Connor, we're already pretty much at the halfway point of the season after tonight. It's pretty fast-moving pace, isn't it?
It really is. You know, once the fall gets going, it's just amazing how fast things move.
Well, I know we've got plenty of things to get into. I actually want to start off talking a little bit about running backs. Boy, there are some great stories and great running backs around the area and around all of Western Kansas. There's the great young back at Decatur Community, Josiah Patton Gall. There's, of course, Ryan Schromick over at Rollins County. That's been very good, but some other great backs down at Ingalls as well. Can you talk about the great running backs that we've seen so far here in these first few weeks of this high school football season?
Yeah, it's really amazing. And what we've seen this year, too, is that a lot of these running backs are actually playing quarterback. You know, in the previous years, you know, even Rollins County last year, you know, Ryan Schromick led 8 in Division I in rushing yards, just shy of 2,000 last year. And he was in the backfield, and now he's predominantly playing quarterback. So Nemaha Central last year, who won 2A the last 2 seasons, but certainly last year they used Carter Hayek as their quarterback running back, and he had 352 carries in 13 games as their quarterback. And there's many coaches, Kevin Ayers among them, who had said that a running quarterback is the hardest thing to defend. And so when you look at it this year, Schramek right now is number 1 in Kansas for 6 and 8 man in rushing yards with 917, 89 attempts. Langston Northern from Ingalls, another returning All-State player, is second at 896. And then Josiah Pattengall from Oberlin is third. And, Pattengall is a guy who people thought was going to break out. A lot of people were very high on Oberlin this year. I thought that Oberlin's St. Francis game was a very intriguing game last week. And the emergence of Pattengall has been super impressive. I do want to come back to him here in a second. But Cashton Young from Wichita County is sixth. He's been playing quarterback as well. It seems like every year the Indians have a great running back, and this year it's more of their quarterback running the ball. Daniel Kramer, the great dual threat quarterback from Guyton, is eighth in rushing, and I believe top 3 in total yards when you factor in his passing as well too. And then JT Prusa from Coldwater. Coldwater South Central, of course, made the 8-man Division II state championship game last year. They actually flipped from what we had spoken of. They moved him from quarterback to running back. So, and then the Wark boy from Golden Plains has had a really nice, impressive season as well too. I think Golden Plains is certainly a top 10 team, but it's so impressive going back to Pattengall. Oberlin's extremely run heavy. In only four games this year, Pattengall has only thrown it 12 times, but he's rushed it 85 times. Their coach Brandon Hardwick was a former Hayes High standout lineman, and he's really wanted to run the ball a lot behind being a really good line. And you're seeing Oberlin this year really take some positive steps in that direction.
Well, there's no doubt. And boy, they've got a humongous game this weekend as Hoxie comes into Oberlin to play. That'll be one of the massive games of this weekend.
Yeah, and I think, I think that, Oberlin's a nice team. And again, I think they're going to be a 6-7 win team. But I think Hoxie is kind of in its own dimension by itself right now. And yeah, there's 1 or 2 other teams in the top 5 who are probably around them. But I think Hoxie has separated themselves. Last week they faced really struggling Stockton, and they had the freshman boy, the freshman running back for Hoxie, who stood out. And Coach Lance Barr, essentially rested pretty much all of his top players. They played a little bit, but it was essentially a JV game, which I think is always a good idea because you don't have many JV games now. Some teams only have 2 or 3. I think Victoria has 6 this year. But you don't have many JV games. But I think Hoxie has all the pieces, and we've talked about this, but they are very, very upfront about this. Our goal is to win a state championship, period. And then they believe they've got all the pieces to do so. But again, this is the best Oberlin team in a while. It really is. And again, Pattengall at running back or quarterback has really made a ginormous difference on that. If you look at what Oberlin's done, they lose to Guyton, who's top 3 in 8-man Division II, and the other wins have been fairly high point totals. Oberlin has put up 154 points this year, if my math is correct. And last year they put up about 140. So, Oberlin's already exceeded their offensive output from all of last year.
That's an amazing stat. Connor Nickel, our guest from Sunflower Sports Solutions, and K Preps joining us on the Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware Hotline. There are some other big games out here in the West, and I'll know you got a couple you want to get into. Another one I'm really intrigued about, Colby 4-0 taking on Holcomb. Colby, of course, with a very nice win last week over Hugoton. But that game and what other ones are on your mind this weekend?
Yeah, that's a major one. Colby is quietly, they have not gotten a whole lot of buzz throughout the state, but quietly doing some nice things. And part of that lack of buzz, comes from their first 3 weeks. You face two very struggling teams, and you face a non-Kansas school. But then, you beat Hugoton last week, and Ryan Mosher's team has been really impressive in getting it done on defense. They've only given up 43 points this year. Last year they just gave up more. They gave up 50 or more in a couple of games, 40 or more. And they've really done a nice job this year of holding teams down. Can they hold down Holcomb's pass offense? That's a kind of another question there. But Colby's defense, sometimes we talk about backs, quarterbacks, and big offensive numbers. Defensively, this year, Colby has been much improved. A major game in the WAC, Dodge City has quietly gotten off to a really impressive start. And they will face a great Bend team this week at home, who I think is really, really good and has all the pieces and is great on both sides of the ball. But we all knew with Dodge City that Glenn O'Neill, of course, the amazing run in Scott City, always had a top 5 defense in Scott City for about a decade, that he was eventually going to get Dodge City's defense better. And you look at this year, they have given up 49 points in 4 games. That is superb. And so I think Great Bend is favored, but I think this is going to be a 4-quarter major grind-it-out type of battle.
Connor Nickel, our guest from Sunflower Sports Solutions and K-Preps. What else is on your mind here this week, Connor?
Yeah, Greeley County volleyball. Jaden Stewart hit 1,000 career kills. What a career she has had. We really like Greeley County to make their first ever state appearance. There was a few classification changes. The major one that I wanted to approach out west was Grainfield Wheatland Grinnell in 1A Division II volleyball is a superb team. Superb. And I've got to see them play earlier this fall, and I really believe that coach there has all the pieces to make a state championship run. You've seen Shiloh with Taylor McCarty get off to a solid start, but Grainfield is a team to really watch out for, who I think could really win a state championship this year. Hanover and Lebo has really dominated 1A2 the last couple of years. I think Attica will be very good again. They've got a Washburn commit on their team, Chloe Traffus, but Grainfield is really impressive.
No doubt about it. They've been a great program for a long time. Before I let you go, Connor, who are our athletes of this week? They're from Sunflower Sports Solutions.
Yeah, so we talked about Grainfield of volleyball being we've kind of highlighted them this week. That's been a major one, and also we wanted to highlight Hayes High sophomore lineman Gus Corsair, who has as an Iowa State offer this summer. He went to Ole Miss camp, Bama camp, did a lot of super impressive things. Corsair's a great player, 6'3", 280. Hayes High has had a nice season offensively after they graduated Malik Ba, who set the all-time rushing record for Hayes High. Corsair and that line has stepped in. They've been able to move the ball very, very well. They are 2-2, but a last-second loss to Manhattan and a competitive loss to Derby. Manhattan and Derby are top 5 teams, all classes. And so Hayes High 2-2, I think that the arrow is pointing up very, very strongly for them.
We'll look forward to another exciting weekend and week of high school sports. And, of course, Connor Nickel will be there covering it all for K-Preps. Where are you going? Are you going to the Great Bend Dodge City game? Where are you going to be at here on Friday?
Well, I was going to, but we have homecoming Friday night here at Victoria. So I'm involved in a number of of activities, and my daughter will be involved in a number of activities too. And so my parents are in town, so we're doing a lot of family things on Friday night.
Nothing wrong with that. Should be a good time as well. Connor Nickel from Sunflower Sports Solutions and K-Preps. Thank you, Connor. Have a great weekend.
Thank you, sir.
Once again, great stuff there from Connor Nickel as we close up our second segment here on a Friday, October the 4th. Let's take our final break. We'll come back. Plenty of good regional football games this weekend. We'll get to that next. And, of course, the Pick Six picks of the weekend coming up, too. You're listening to the Morning Blitz here on a Friday.
Even though your attention has turned back to school with events and activities, you just can't forget everything going on at home. That's where your local Hoover Lumber Ace hardware stores in Goodland and Colby come in. Keep the lawn in check with mowers, blowers, and trimmers from Craftsman, Toro, and Ego. They are still your local Benjamin Moore paint retailer, and they still have that amazing selection of outdoor grills and griddles from Traeger, Weber, and Blackstone. Plus, their helpful and knowledgeable staffs are some of the best in the Northwest. It's all at Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware in Goodland and Colby. Open every day but Sunday.
The Farmers State Bank of Oakley has been financing agriculture since the day we opened our doors. Hello, this is Corbin, and we are proud to be your locally owned partner in ag. We invite you to come and visit with us when you need to purchase new or used farm equipment or need any type of agriculture or business loan. We have the knowledge, experience, and financial resources to keep you growing. The Farmers State Bank of Oakley, a tradition of community and agriculture for over 115 years. Member FDIC.
Hi, it's Andrew Hoiberg from Calcium Products. Rapidly correct and maintain your soil pH with 98G pelletized limestone to protect your fertilizer investment. Applying 98G at 200 pounds per acre provides a 9.4 bushel increase on corn and a 3.1 bushel increase on soybeans. Ask your agronomist about applying 98G pelletized limestone this fall and learn more at calciumproducts.com.
If you're shopping for a banking institution, visit with Equity Bank of Hoxie, Grinnell, and Quinter, Kansas. The Equity Bank is heavily invested in local business and activities contributing in many ways back to their community. Their employees are involved with many organizations and area events. Plus, a lot of experience comes with that staff. You'll find valuable local assistance when you bank at the Equity Bank of Hoxie, Grinnell, Quinter, and other locations in Western Kansas. The Equity Bank, member FDIC.
Your livelihood is important to you. You work hard to succeed in your farming operation, crop, livestock, home, vehicles, and special needs. We have you covered. Discounts are available for new business, remodeling, hail-resistive roofing, multi-policy, and many more. Optional coverage endorsements as well for machinery ingestion and equipment breakdown. Umbrella coverage for additional coverage on your home, farm, and auto. See the girls at the insurance agency at 1020 Main in Goodland or call 785-899-5011.
You're listening to the Morning Blitz with Ross Volkmer.
He talks about sports on the radio.
Thanks again to Connor Nickel for joining the program a few minutes ago, giving us his thoughts on some local sports, some regional sports. Love him talking about all the great backs that we have in our listening region. Couldn't agree with him more. There's some really, really good backs out in our area. And they'll be in action tonight with Week 5 of the high school football season. Following tonight, plenty of good regional football on this weekend. You've got 1-4 Kansas on the road at 3-1 Arizona State. You've got 4-1 Nebraska hosting unbeaten Rutgers. 2-2 Colorado State at 3-1 Oregon State. Sunday, you'll have the Denver Broncos hosting the Raiders. Both those teams come in at 2-2. And an interesting storyline as well out of the academies. So I noticed in this weekend, Air Force hosts Navy there at Colorado Springs. Navy's 4-0, Air Force is 1-3. Excuse me. But the fun stat that I heard yesterday was both Navy and Army are both unbeaten at 4-0 for the first time since 1945. They actually lead the AAC, not the ACC, the American Athletic Conference. They're both in there. They actually both sit at the top. How cool would it be if either one of those teams could stay unbeaten and make it into the college football playoff? That would be awesome. I would love to see it. I don't know if we're going to, probably not, but it would be really cool if we did. And honestly, the schedules for both those teams, I was looking at those, they're not like super daunting. They both have to play Notre Dame. But, past that, the schedules are not super daunting for Navy and for Army, which it's one of my dream things is to go to an Army-Navy game. I would love to go to that at some point in time in my life. But, that's a cool storyline. First time both teams are unbeaten since 1945. And even though they're not playing this weekend, Navy is playing at Air Force. And the Naval Academy, I think, is like a 2-score favorite at this point in time. But I don't know, just a fun story. Back to regional football games here this weekend. Kansas going to Arizona State. Is this the weekend that Kansas finally gets that first Big 12 win? That's the question going into this contest. Can they find a way? Devin Neal has been great. He's ran for over 500 yards and 4 touchdowns. Daniel Highshaw's got over almost close to 300 yards rushing, an average close to 7 yards a carry. Arizona State's run defense has been pretty solid this year at this point in time. Can Jalen Daniels find a way to improve his numbers? It's not been good. Just 53% completion of his passes, 5 touchdowns, 8 picks. Anytime you have more interceptions than picks, that is a problem. But if the Jayhawks are going to get this season going in the right direction, it starts with him. It starts with him under center. They have to find a way to do that. Kansas defensively has to find a get off the field and stop the running game. Cam Scatabo, a guy most people are like, what the heck is that? Scatabo is the running back for Arizona State. He averages more than 108 yards on the ground per game, 5 yards per carry. He's also pretty good out of the backfield receiving. He's a good player, as Cam Scatabo is. They got to find a way to slow him down. The thing that I like about this game from the Kansas perspective is look who KU has played here early on in this season. Illinois has proven to be a top 25 team. UNLV has proven to be a top 25 team. You had to go to West Virginia. Probably had that game won, gave that one away, but West Virginia is a tough place to play. And then you gave away the TCU game. And this thing, you've been leading in the majority of these games. That's the thing. You've been in the front. You got to find a way to close out these games. Limiting turnovers will do that. Arizona State, by the way, who they played? Wyoming, who's having a very down season. Mississippi State, who's also having a first-year head coach, kind of figured things out there in Jeff Levy. Texas State was a close game. Texas State's okay. They beat them by 3, and that was kind of a controversial game at the end. And then they lost by 8 to Texas Tech here 2 weeks ago. So Arizona State's a little bit more well-rested. But I don't know. I feel like this game, Kansas has a good chance of getting this win. I feel like it. We'll see. We will see. But Jalen Daniels has to find a way to not turn the ball over. Hold on to the ball as best you can. That will be very, very big in that game. Some other games this weekend. Nebraska hosting Rutgers. Rutgers trying to get to its best start since 2006. If they could get a win at Memorial Stadium in Lincoln. Rutgers has I always think Greg Schiano's a really good coach. And they're trying to get into the top 25 for the first time since 2012. That's the longest drought among Power 5 conference teams. And the big thing, the storyline thing to watch in this game is can Nebraska limit Kyle Monangai, who's the running back for the Scarlet Knights? He's very, very good. He is averaging a Big Ten best 147 yards per game. He also totes the rock about 25 yards per game. They love to give him the ball. And so if Nebraska can find a way to limit him, and this is a guy who, by the way, has lost yards on just 5 of his 97 attempts. He does not go backwards. If they can find a way to limit Kyle Monangai and keep him, in the around the 90s to maybe low 100s at most, I would like to say you keep him in the 80s or 90s. If you can find a way to shut him down and make the Rutgers quarterback, Kaliak Banis, the Minnesota transfer, beat you throwing the ball, that would be big. So I think they have to find a way to stop the run, make the quarterback beat them throwing the ball. That I think that'll make things difficult for the Scarlet Knights. And then from Nebraska's perspective, once again, you've done a good job limiting the turnovers. You have to finish drives. Can't trust special teams right now, particular place kicking. You've got to get deep into the territory to make the field goals extremely easy or just score touchdowns. That will be a big thing. But I don't know. I think if you're Nebraska, you had a wake-up call against Illinois. And you're going to have to, this will be another very challenging game against a team that's extra hungry in Rutgers to get to 5-0. This honestly could be one of the better games of the entire weekend. As I said on the Power 5 a couple days ago, this I think will be one of the better, more competitive, entertaining games of the weekend coming up between Rutgers and Nebraska. Some other regional games, because Kansas State and Colorado are on byes heading into their big clash coming up here next weekend. But you got Colorado State at Oregon State. The Rams are 2-2. The Beavers are 3-1. Colorado State has just not had anywhere near a type of season I thought they'd be a little bit better, especially with their quarterback returning in what's his name? Braden Fowler Nicolosi. I figured they'd have a better year with him, and he hasn't been that good. Just 2 touchdowns to 4 picks. So, and Oregon State has done a good job. They've done a good job. They've got a nice win over Purdue at this point in time, a shutout victory over San Diego State. I don't know. Once again, I think Oregon State's probably going to win that game because they are at home as well. And then you've got Las Vegas going to the Denver Broncos here this weekend. A lot of people are watching that game and are very excited about that. With it being Hate Raider week, this game here, I don't know if it's going to be. I think it's going to be another kind of semi-ugly game. I don't think either offense is going to have a lot of success. Defenses are probably going to rule the day in this game. So I don't expect a ton of points. And so my guess is it's ugly, but maybe because Denver's at home, they're going to get the win. I don't know. This to me seems I want to say that, but in my gut, it feels like this is the type of game where everything seems to be kind of burning in Vegas with the Devontae Adams story. This is one of those games that they just show up and they run the ball and run the ball and run the ball and run the ball and run the ball. And they find a way to win it in the end. I don't know why I think that, but it's just in my mind. Like there's been so much distractions with Las Vegas, and it feels like the Broncos should win this game. It also feels like a way that the Broncos would lose this game, and Vegas would find a way to get it done. We'll find out here in a few days. We'll find out about that. The game is on Fox, and of course also here on Rocket 102.5. Kickoff is set for 2:05 Mountain Time.
A 3-run walk-off home run, a game-winning walk-off with a walk-off. His second walk-off hit of the season. In walk-off fashion, that baby's go.
As we wrap up the show, it's time for the Pick 6 picks of the weekend. The 6 picks I will make this weekend include, I've got Kansas winning outright. I think the Jayhawks find a way to get it done. Just don't turn the ball over. And if you have a lead, just pound the ball with Devin Neal and don't try and throw it. Don't get fancy. I don't think Arizona State has been tested very much. Kansas has been. I think they're able to get a win and get that first Big 12 win. I've got Rutgers covering the 7. I think the spread is really large in Lincoln. It's not that I don't think the Nebraska can win this game. I actually think they probably do, but I think it's going to be another tight one there. So give me Nebraska over Rutgers, but Rutgers covers the 7 points. Colorado State at Oregon State. I'm going to say Oregon State covers the 11-point spread at this point in time. I think the Beavers are just a much better football team at this point in time. And then I've got Broncos and Raiders on Sunday. I'm going to take the under of 35.5. That's not a lot of points, I know, but I'm going to take the under. I don't think we're going to see a lot of offense in that game. Both defenses think are going to shut down the opposing team's offenses. And then 2 more fun ones, since we don't have K-State or Colorado to pick. I'm going with Michigan, the outright winners over Washington. Washington is a 1.5-point favorite at home. I think Michigan beats the Huskies in Seattle. And then I'm going to the NFL for my final one. Baltimore and Cincinnati. I think it's going to be over 49.5 points. You're going to see a lot of offensive fireworks, kind of like what we saw last night on Thursday Night Football. A lot of offensive fireworks between Baltimore and Cincinnati. So I'll take the over 49.5. There you go. The Pick 6 picks of the weekend. Now have yourself a great weekend. We're back again on Monday. Be sure to tune in to your local high school football game, whether it's 100 Points Through the Ride or on Rocket 102.5. We'll talk tonight, and have a good weekend.
Rocket 102.5, KKCI, Goodland, Colby, Burlington.